It was a cold, rainy night on the outskirts of Boston. The rain lashed against the windows of a small roadside motel, the kind that smells like cheap soap and overly waxed floors. Inside, Sarah Blake pushed her cleaning cart silently through the empty hallways. Her shift dragged on, like most of her days lately, long, exhausting, and painfully lonely. She wasn't just tired of work. She was tired of life, tired of waiting for something to change, tired of the side eyes, the whispered comments about how she spoke, or rather, how she barely could. It was as if every syllable she tried to speak became a barrier between her and the world. Most of the hotel staff avoided her, thinking her speech impediment meant weakness, or worse, inferiority. But Sarah didn't let it crush her. She had dreams. She dreamed of going back to school, maybe enrolling in a trade program. But more than anything, she dreamed of being treated with respect, of being seen beyond the words she struggled to say. Exactly 11:07 p.m., Sarah stepped out the back door to take out the trash. The rain stung her face. Thunder rumbled behind the trees in the parking lot. That's when she saw her, a little girl, no more than 9 years old, curled up beneath the side awning of the motel. Soaked, shivering, barefoot. Her eyes were wide with fear, but no words came from her mouth. Sarah ran over, dropped the trash bag, and knelt beside her. "Sweetheart, where's your family?" she asked, her voice low and strained. No response, only silence and trembling. Then Sarah understood the girl was deaf. She remembered the sign language her brother had taught her years ago. Slowly, gently, she began to sign. The girl's eyes lit up. Her hands moved hesitantly at first, then faster. Her name was Emily. She had run away from home. She was angry, afraid, and heartbroken. Her mother had died in a car crash a year ago. Since then, she and her father had lived like ghosts, close in distance, but oceans apart in grief. The fight that night had been the last straw. She ran, convinced she wasn't loved anymore, that she didn't belong anywhere. Sarah brought her inside, wrapped her in warm towels from the laundry cart, made hot chocolate in the tiny staff kitchenette with extra marshmallows. And for the first time in weeks, Emily smiled. It wasn't a full smile, but it was enough for Sarah to understand. This girl needed care, safety, and someone who truly saw her. What neither of them knew was that someone else was driving through that storm, searching, pleading for a miracle. Miles away, Richard Carter, one of New England's wealthiest men, pulled over his luxury SUV for the 10th time that night. His hands shook on the wheel. His eyes scanned the roads. No signal. His mind spinning in panic. Ever since his wife's death, he hadn't been able to reach his daughter, and now she was gone. "Emily, please come back to me," he whispered to the wind. "I can't lose you too." Then, by what some would call chance, but what Sarah would later call destiny, Richard saw a dim light in the side hallway of the motel. A tiny figure in the window, a little girl with familiar curls. He slammed the brakes and ran to the back entrance. Inside, Sarah turned, startled. Emily froze. Then, her lips began to tremble. "Daddy," she signed. Richard dropped to his knees, rain pouring off his coat, his chest heaving with sobs. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Sarah stepped back, giving them space. Father and daughter embraced like it was the first time, and in many ways it was. The next morning, the same black SUV pulled into the motel parking lot. Sarah stepped outside, puzzled. "Miss Blake," said a man in a suit, "Mr. Carter would like to see you." She feared legal trouble, or worse, an accusation. But when she arrived at the Carter Foundation headquarters, she was taken to the top floor. Richard stood by the window, looking out over the city. "I owe you more than thanks," he said. "You didn't just save my daughter. You helped me see what I'd forgotten." He turned, a new light in his eyes. "I want to hire you, not as a cleaner, as a family assistant. For Emily, for me, for everyone I've neglected while chasing things that never mattered. Sarah stood in stunned silence. For so long, I tried to prove I was capable, that I could be someone even if I couldn't speak like everyone else. Maybe this is my chance. Weeks passed, then months. Sarah became more than just an assistant. She became part of the family. Emily saw her as a bridge between silence and love. And Richard Carter, once the image of power and pride, learned how to listen, to observe, to care. One day, Emily held both their hands in front of a small church altar and signed, "This is my real home." Because sometimes life uses a storm to bring lost hearts together. And sometimes it answers not with grand miracles, but with small acts of kindness, like a little girl in the rain and a cleaning woman with a heart willing to hear. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34, verse 18. Some stories aren't just told. They're felt deep in the heart. This one was about love, loss, and the unexpected paths that bring healing. If it touched your soul, you're not alone. Sometimes all it takes is one moment, one person to change everything. Maybe you've been waiting for your moment, too. Don't stop believing in second chances. For more powerful stories that inspire and move you, subscribe to our channel and be part of something truly meaningful.